crisis-related question.
Go ahead.
Because the attacks in the Asian American community continue to rise. There were some videos that went viral because elderly Asian Americans were really attacked in a way that is difficult to watch. And I wonder, other than the presidential memorandum, is President Biden going to take any further actions to address this problem?
He is concerned about discrimination against Asian American communities.
Going to get through this. I grew up enjoying to perform in front of people. I've always wanted to just make people laugh. I work in the laboratory. I'm a medical technician, so I actually test all the samples, that come in for COVID-19. We are the ones that work behind the scenes that are doing the testing, and we seldom will get a personal thank you from somebody, because we did their COVID-19 test. Simply the signs and notes and letters are usually, directed towards the doctors or the nurses, people that have direct patient contact. It's a feeling of a lot of technicians that, we're the ones that are forgotten about behind the scenes, but yet we do this to help patients, help people. You have to feel good about yourself, knowing that you're helping these patients, regardless if they know that you're helping them or not. So people just quitting because they were in a different department, and then they were deployed to help nurses. And, those people said, well, I didn't go to school to be a nurse, so I'm just going to quit. And they quit because they weren't asked to volunteer. They just simply were told to go. And they said, we don't have hours for you in your department because we're on government lockdown. We're going to close that department, but you can work in the COVID unit. And, these people, they didn't sign on for that.
You didn't refuse that, right?
I didn't refuse that because honestly, I've been in, what I'm doing in the lab is something that I've been doing for 20 years. I'm not afraid of that. I am cautious. I use precautions, and I've done that sort of thing for 20 years. I said if I was really that afraid of something, I said I wouldn't be able to do my job for 20 years. I said I wouldn't even be able to work in the lab because we're constantly exposed to bacteria, virus.
I finished talking, he closed his eyes. I said goodbye to him, yeah. After that, he closed his eyes, did not open eyes anymore, yeah.
My father passed away this year, September 6th, 2020. Because of the COVID restrictions, there was only one visitor allowed to see him. I was allowed to bring my mother back because my mother is visually impaired, so I guess they made a special exception. Yeah, I mean, it is an awful time for someone to pass away now, just not that it's ever a good time, but this, it's just so challenging now. Yeah, even though his passing was, something we had expected for a while now, you're never prepared. You think that you are prepared for something like this. My father was a biologist. He taught at a university. He was a professor there, and he specialized in parasitology. But he was always, interested in anything in science of that nature. He was a scientist. And so when something like this pandemic that's happening now, if he still was able, if he was still, with his mentality, I'm sure he would have been extremely interested. He would definitely be, researching something like this. I just kind of wish that he was still around in his professor mental status. Just give me his opinion or his views as to what was going on. It would have been a great retrospect to hear from him. He judged things on facts. He was not something that he's going to listen to all this fake facts. He wanted to see actual numbers, actual things that were happening so that he could decide for himself what was going on. So that's really, I guess that's the takeaway